For more on the upcoming poll in the DRC, I am joined by my VOA Africa Division colleague, Roger Muntu himself, host of the popular VOA French to Africa, Roger Muntu Show. Well, I have to say frankly that I am profoundly honored and exceedingly humbled to have another opportunity to host you on Straight Talk Africa.
Same here, Shaka, same here. Thank you. It's always a pleasure being on your show.
You're most welcome. Right. How come you're not in Kinshasa? You should be in Kinshasa right now.
I would love to be in Kinshasa right now. I would love, if VOA say, Roger, you're going to Kinshasa tomorrow, I'm gone. That's what I want to be right now.
And what are you getting from Kinshasa?
What I'm getting from Kinshasa is, there's a lot of tension. Let's say, Shaka, with less than a month of the key elections, some are wondering if finally, if there are difficult time ahead. Because right now, let's say the presidential campaign and all the other campaigns has officially started about 6 days ago. Things are moving timidly but rapidly at the same time. So, the people that
What exactly do you mean by timidly but rapidly at the same time?
Timidly meaning people the candidates start doing campaigning, in the regions and different places. But when I mean rapidly at the same time is that as Paul just announced, we've seen some opposition leader returning to the country. We saw Kamere, the latest one was Kamere and Felix Tshisekedi from the UDPS returning to Kinshasa. That was yesterday, and we saw so many people going to welcome them and chanting. Prior to that, we saw Mr. Fayulu, who partnered with the other opposition leader, Mbemba, and Katumbi, who also returned and was also welcomed. So there's all of that going on. There's all those things, and that's what I mean also by rapidly.
Any particular reason why a man like Jean-Pierre Bemba is not in the race?
Well, there's a lot of things, as we know, about Mbemba, so many other things that we know that that would not allow him to run, and he's not in the race, and you cover that here, Straight Talk Africa. He was arrested, and then he was released. All those things made it so difficult for him to run, to be in this race.
And Moise Katumbi,
Moise Katumbi, who also has some legal issues with the government, according to the Congolese government, was not allowed to return to country. And I was in Kinshasa myself. I spoke to Mr. Lambert Mende about that. But according to the Minister of Information, Lambert Mende, was that Mr. Katumbi never made it to the DRC, was not even close to DRC. If he returned to DRC, they would gladly, according to himself, arrest Mr. Katumbi.
Why?
Because according to him, again, he has some issues to deal with the law. He was accused of, bringing the American, how do they call it, people in the DRC to overthrow, like mercenaries, exactly, really? To overthrow Kabila's power. And he has that. He has to go to the court in order to respond to those accusations. That's the reason why they're waiting to arrest him if he returns.
Roger, talk to me briefly about your history. When I was doing my homework, I discovered, to my amazement, that if in fact this December 23rd election takes place, it will be a great historical opportunity for your country, for the first time, to have a peaceful transfer of power from one individual to another.
You said it so right, Shakasali. The DRC has never known, as we all know, never known a peaceful transition of power since independence from Belgium, 1960. So the Congolese that I speak to, that I talk to every day, are crossing their fingers, hoping that this will be the first, as you just say, the first peaceful election ever. That's why this is so big in the DRC right now. That's why, there's all this movement going on right now. All over the world. It's not just in the DRC, but all Congolese in the diaspora. This is big. This is the moment. For some, it's even like this is like a soccer game or a Super Bowl, because they're waiting for that moment that they always prayed. So if they miss, according to those I talked to, if they miss this occasion, they don't think there will be ever a peaceful passing of power. I should say it that way.
Any particular reason, Roger, given that the name of the country happens to be the Democratic Republic of the Congo?
Why would you
How
say
did that name come about, if in fact there is no element of democracy?
That's a very good question. And the people that I talk to, Shakasali, every day, asked me the same question, because we do debate on my radio show, the RM Show. But they asked me this question, Sheikh Asali, how can the country be democratic when students are being killed in universities? How can it be democratic when you have other opposition leader in prison just because of what they had written or they had said? Why would it be called democratic? Well, you have nobody can say publicly, run and march and protest against anything that they believe in. But there are also people who think. I was in Brazzaville recently. There are people in Brazzaville who believe that really you guys in the DRC are making progress in democracy, because here in Brazzaville we can't even say anything anywhere.
You are probably better off, obviously, than those people on the other side of the river.
Big time.
And probably also somewhere in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, Roger, we talk about democracy. There's no question in some observers' mind that there is definitely a cultural aspect that is democratic when it comes to Congo. You are talking about Matonge. Matonge is considered to be the cultural epicenter of the region. Music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Congolese love music.
Yeah.
And it is something that everybody has unfettered access. Why wouldn't that translate, for example, into social, economic, political justice?
Music. I don't know if, Sheikh Salih, you've also heard of the group called, they call them combattants, or combated. They protesters, they're all over the diaspora. They have decided that no Congolese musician or music will have a concert outside of the DRC. They have decided that. Why? Because, as you just say, like in Matonge, for instance, music is a key. Music is one of the resources in the DRC. It's a big thing in the Congo. So because some of the musicians did in the past sing or made songs to support Kabila and his power, they had made it so those musicians will not be allowed to perform outside of the DRC. And this is causing also a problem, not only for those musicians, but culturally. You know, it's also reducing or changing the whole Congolese culture today. So it's actually affecting that.
You know, I grew up consuming, in fact, that aspect of cultural democracy.
Right, right.
I used to, of course, we used to hear records, you know, things to do with bolingo ya telephone. Huh?
Right.
Huh? Bolingo ya telephone. What does it mean?
Bolingo ya telephone is love of the telephone.
Really?
Yeah, to love somebody on the phone. So pretty much you met on the telephone, and you know, it's like a long distance relationship.
What about the late Franco Rwambaya Makiadi's Mario?
Mario, which is also another song that was all over Africa, all over the world. Mario meaning pretty much an older woman going out with a younger man who's taking advantage of the older, woman, as far as money, cars, house.
I remember.
Remember that song?
I remember, in fact, appearing in a Mombasa discotheque back in 1986.
Right.
And I was with a Ugandan partner, and we were dancing Mario. And next to us was a Congolese couple. Oh my God, how they could dance. I couldn't believe it.
Really?
I just told
you still
my partner,
remember
I said,
vividly like
what?
it was yesterday.
Why don't we simply watch, really? Now, let's go to the December 23rd election. What are people talking about right now? Are they talking about personalities, or are they in fact talking about the issues that matter?
Right now, they are talking about so many things, Shakazali. The biggest thing right now for the elections in December 23rd is the voting machine. Now, the people don't trust those machines. Mr. Corneille Nangaa, who's overseeing the election, the CENI, came here and showed us the voting machine. And according to himself, those are not not regular computers. It's just a printer. You choose your candidate and it prints. Now, people are not trusting those machines at all. They think, and they're speculating, that those machines already have been programmed. So whoever you see there, maybe that's not who's going to be the candidate you're going to vote. So they already know, or that's what's being talked right now. So, but there's also a lot of issues, and the people want to hear from those candidates. What's your program? What are you trying to do with us if you take the country? It's okay for Kabila, we already know, granted Kabila has announced that he's not running, and Mr. Shadari is going to run. But if you come, whoever's going to replace Kabila, what are you bringing to the table? That's also the questions people ask.
But you know as well as I do, Roger, that politicians campaign in poetry.
Of course. We all know that.
They tell people what they think they need or want to hear.
Right.
They actually promise heaven on earth. But when it comes to the business of governing, that one they say is done in prose. Huh?
That's a big question right there. So,
what about the people you are talking with, the journalists, the ordinary people, and what have you, your family? Do they have confidence in the ability, for example, of the Electoral Commission to deliver a free, fair, credible, transparent, verifiable vote come December 23rd?
That's the biggest issue right now, and I'm going back again with the voting machines. Because of that, people don't believe in those elections on the voting. When the time comes on the 23rd, they don't believe it's going to be fair. They don't believe it's going to be peaceful at all. There's already small tension starting, and they really don't think it's a really, the DRC is entering the turbulent moment right now. It's not going to be easy this few days. So it's people afraid, Shakasali. Those people that I speak with, they're scared because they don't know. Everything is like kind of like black in front of them. So they don't know what's going on, what can happen. From now until the
Roger, I was being critical of perhaps the absence of democracy in the Democratic Republic of Congo, but I have to confess that there is probably also some similarities of that right here in Studio 47, because I'm being told by my producer that time is not my best ally. Well, thanks to my colleague, Roger Muntu, host of the popular VOA French to Africa, Roger Muntu Show, for that update. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Sheikh Asali. Thank you.
We'll have you next month again.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Yeah.